Tuesday the 1st of August, 1944. Dear Kitty, a bundle... start again. Dear Kitty, a bundle of contradictions. That's how I ended my last letter, and that's how I'm going to begin this one. A little bundle of contradictions. Can you tell me exactly what it is? What does contradiction mean? Like so many words, it can mean two things. Contradictions from without and contradictions from within. The first is the ordinary. Not giving in easily, always knowing best, getting in the last word, enfin. All the unpleasant qualities for which I'm renowned. The second nobody knows about. That's our own secret. I've already told you before that I have, as it were, a dual personality. One half embodies my exuberant cheerfulness, making fun of everything, my high-spiritedness, and above all, the way I take everything lightly. This includes not taking offense at a flirtation, a kiss, an embrace, a dirty joke even. This side is usually lying in wait and pushes away the other, which is much better, deeper and purer. You must realize that no one knows Anne's better side, and that's why most people find me so insufferable. Certainly I'm a giddy clown for one afternoon, but then everyone's had enough of me for another month. Really, it's just the same as a love film is for deep thinking people. Simply a diversion. Something just for once. Something which is soon forgotten. Not bad, but certainly not particularly good. I loathe having to tell you this, but why shouldn't I, if I know it's true anyway? My lighter, superficial side will always be too quick for the deeper side of me. And that's why it will always win. You can't imagine how often I've already tried to push this Anne away, to cripple her, to hide her, because after all, she's only half of what's called Anne. But it doesn't work, and I know too why it doesn't work. I'm awfully scared that everyone who knows me, as I always am, will discover that I have another side, a finer and better side. I'm afraid they'll laugh at me and think I'm ridiculous and sentimental, not take me seriously. I'm used to not being taken seriously, but it's only the lighter-hearted Anne that's used to it and can bear it. The deeper Anne is too frail for it. Sometimes, if I really compel a good Anne to take stage for a quarter of an hour, she simply shrivels up as soon as she has to speak and lets Anne number one take over again. And before I realize it, she has disappeared. Therefore, the nice Anne is never present in company, has not appeared one single time so far, but most always predominates when we're alone. I know exactly how I'd like to be, how I am too inside, but alas, I'm only like that for myself, and perhaps that's why. I'm sure it's the reason why I say I've got a happy nature within, and why other people think I've got a happy nature without. I'm guided by the pure and within, but outside I'm nothing but a frolicsome little goat who's broken loose. As I've already said, I never utter my real feelings about anything, and that's how I've acquired this reputation of boy crazy, a flirt, know-all, reader of love stories. The cheerful Anne laughs about it, gives cheeky answers, shrugs her shoulders indifferently, behaves as if she doesn't care. But oh dearie me, the quiet Anne's reactions are just the opposite. If I'm to be quite honest, then I must admit that it does hurt me, and I try terribly hard to change myself, but that I'm always fighting against a more powerful enemy. Her voice sobs within me. There you are. That's what's become of you. You're uncharitable. You look supercilious and peevish. People dislike you all because you won't listen to the advice given by your own better half. Oh, I would like to listen, but it doesn't work. If I'm quiet and serious, everyone thinks that it's a new comedy, and then I have to get out of it by turning it into a joke. Not to mention my own family, who are sure to think I'm ill, make me swallow pills for headaches and nerves, feel my neck and my head to see whether I'm running a temperature, ask if I'm constipated, and criticize me for being in a bad mood. I can't keep that up. If I'm watched to that extent, I start by getting snappy, then unhappy, and finally I twist my heart round again so that the bad is on the outside and the good is on the inside, and keep on trying to find a way of becoming what I would like to be and what I could be if there weren't any other people living in the world. Yours, Anne. There you go. Epilogue. Anne's diary ended on the 4th of August 1944. Armed German security police, accompanied by Dutch Nazis, made a raid on the main office and compelled Krahler to reveal the entrance to the secret annex. All the occupants, together with Krahler and Kufius, were arrested. On the 3rd of September, the Jewish prisoners, after a period at Westerbork, the main German concentration camp in Holland, were sent, packed in cattle trucks, eastwards to Auschwitz, the notorious extermination centre in German-occupied Poland. Krahler and Kufius were in Dutch concentration camps for some months before the liberation. Secret annex was plundered during the police raid. A few days later, in a pile of old newspapers left lying on the floor, an office cleaner found the notebooks containing Anne's diary. Not knowing what they were, he handed them to Miep and Ellie, these two girls whose assistance to the little Jewish group had been steadfastly concealed from the Germans during the interrogation. Kept the diary until Anne's father, Otto Frank, returned after the war. Meanwhile, the older members of the party weakened under the terrible conditions of life in Auschwitz. Van Daan was selected for the gas chamber and put to death. Otto Frank himself escaped this fate by a strange twist of fortune which brought him into the camp hospital in November, where he still was when the camp was freed by the Soviet armies on the 27th of January 1945. With a few other survivors, he was moved across Galicia and finally reached the Black Sea port of Odessa, where a New Zealand ship picked them up and brought them back to Western Europe. The other prisoners in the camp, numbering about 11,000, had been evacuated westwards by the Germans as the Russians advanced. Among them was Peter Van Daan, who was never heard of again. On his way to Odessa, Otto Frank learned from a Dutch friend that his wife had died on the 5th of January. As for the two girls, they had been sent to Bergen-Belsen in Germany 2 months before their mother's death. There, Anne showed the same qualities of courage and endurance which had already made her noteworthy. At Auschwitz, in February 1945, both sisters caught typhus. One day, Margot, who was lying in the bunk immediately above Anne's, seeking to rise, lost her hold and fell onto the floor. In her weakened state, the shock killed her. Her sister's death did to Anne what all her previous sufferings had failed to do. It broke her spirit. A few days later, in early March, she died. And that's the story of Anne Frank's diary. And to all you anti-Semites out there, I say to you, there's some good Jewish people in the world, many, many good Jewish people in the peace movement and everywhere else. Wake up, you ignoramus. Wake up and smell the rainforest burning and everything else. Good luck, y'all.